A girl was found dead in the waters of Venice. No name, no record, no one looking for her. At the same time, a priceless painting vanished from the Vatican. What do these two events have in common? Only one man can see the connection. His name is Gabriel Allon. And this time, the crime came from inside. Like, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments. The truth is waiting, and we are just getting started. Section 1. The Floating Girl. Venice wakes slowly. The sky above the lagoon is soft and gray. The water carries secrets like whispers in the mist. That morning, it carried something else. A body. A girl. Face down. Floating. Silent. No one screamed. No one claimed her. She drifted into view, wrapped in silence, like she had always belonged to the shadows. The police arrived. They spoke in low voices. They took photos. They shook their heads. There was no ID, no passport, no fingerprints in any system. She was a ghost, and yet she was real, young, still, wearing a simple black dress, a ring on her finger that did not match her clothes. Expensive, antique, out of place. The newspapers barely noticed. Just another tragedy in a tourist city. Just another lost girl. But someone noticed. His name was Gabriel Allon. Gabriel had not worked in a long time. Not like before. He had traded the shadows for art, brushes for bullets, silence for peace. He was in Venice, finishing a restoration, a forgotten chapel, a fading painting, quiet work, clean hands. But when he read the headline, something inside him shifted. Unidentified woman found in canal. That was it. No name, no story, no truth. He looked at the photo once. He saw the dress. He saw the ring. And he knew this was not random. This was not simple. This was a message. Gabriel made a call, not to the police, to someone who owed him a favor. The favor turned into a file. The file turned into a question. Why was this woman wearing a 16th century Venetian ring? Why was it stolen from a private collection 2 months ago? Why was her death not investigated? The deeper he looked, the stranger it became. No hotel had her name. No phone record. No travel log. Yet she had been in Venice for days. She had been watching someone, following someone. Gabriel walked the streets she walked. He traced her steps, church to church, gallery to gallery. She was not there for beauty. She was chasing something, or someone. Gabriel spoke to a local cafe owner. He remembered the girl. She had sat near the back, always alone, always watching. She had asked questions about an art dealer, a collector, a man who lived near the edge of the city, a man who did not like being followed. Gabriel visited the address. The door was locked. The curtains were closed. But something was wrong. The windows showed dust, but the ground had fresh footprints. 2 sets, one heavier than the other. Gabriel took a photo, sent it to a friend. A man still in the office. Old skills never fade. The reply came quick. The heavy prints belonged to a known smuggler, tied to black market art. And worse. Now, the girl's death had a shape. She had followed a man with secrets. She had found something she was not meant to see, and someone made sure she would not talk. But Gabriel still had questions. Why her? Who sent her? And what did she see before she died? He returned to the morgue, asked to see the body. He studied her face. She was young, no older than 25. A small scar near her jaw, not recent, from childhood. Maybe her hands were soft, but Her nails were chipped. She had not been running. She had been fighting. He noticed something strange. A faint ink mark on her wrist, almost washed away. He used a camera light. It was a stamp. From a museum. Small. Hidden. Gabriel went there next. The museum was quiet. Old stone. Paintings lined the walls. Beauty and danger often live side by side. He showed the photo of the girl. The guard hesitated, then nodded. She was here, he said, every day last week. What did she look at? Gabriel asked. The man led him to a small exhibit, a temporary one. Private collections on loan. From Rome. From the Vatican. Gabriel stared at a space on the wall. A blank frame. The label read, St. Catherine, Leonardo da Vinci. But the painting was missing. Gabriel's breath slowed. That was not an accident. That was the beginning. The painting had vanished 3 days ago. No alarm. No break-in. No sign of theft. It simply disappeared. The girl had come. She had seen something. Then she was gone. And so was the art. Now, Gabriel understood. This was not just a murder. This was not just a theft. This was a message. He stepped into the daylight. The city buzzed with life. Tourists took pictures. Boats drifted past. But Gabriel saw only the girl's face. Still, floating. She was not forgotten. Not anymore. He had a mission now. He would find who did this. He would uncover the truth. Because no one, not even the dead, deserved to be erased. Section 2. A masterpiece missing. Venice was still waking up. But in Rome, a storm had already begun. Not of rain, but of silence and fear. Inside the sacred walls of the Vatican, something was gone. Something that should never go missing. A painting. A treasure. A masterpiece. It had vanished. No broken glass. No alarms. No signs of entry. No fingerprints. Just gone. It was a Da Vinci. St. Catherine. One of his lost works. Private. Hidden. Precious. On loan for a short exhibit. Seen by very few. Priced by none. Because you do not price something that should never be sold. The Vatican officials were panicked. But they did not call the police. They did not go public. Instead, they called one man, Gabriel Allon. They had sworn never to ask again. He had left that world behind. He had chosen light over shadows. But some things are too big to ignore. Gabriel stood inside the private gallery. The room was cold, too clean, too perfect. Where the Da Vinci had hung was now only a hook, still fixed to the wall, still in place. He moved closer. No damage, no scratches, no sign that the frame had ever held anything at all. He turned to the Monsignor, a pale man with shaking hands. How did it happen? Gabriel asked. We do not know, the man whispered. It was here at night, gone by morning. Who had access? Only 3 people, 2 priests, and me. Gabriel looked around. This was an inside job, he said. The words hung heavy in the air. He asked to see the logs. Deliveries, visitors, maintenance, everything from the past week. They gave him paper. Too much, too clean. But something stood out. A museum official from Venice. Name, Alessia Moretti. Visit date, 3 days before the painting vanished. Gabriel froze. That was the same day the girl had last been seen alive. He showed the photo. The girl from the canal. The Monsignor frowned. She came in, briefly, quietly, said she was from the Venice exhibit team. But she was alone, and she never signed out. Gabriel left the Vatican with one clear truth. The dead girl had seen the Da Vinci. She had been inside this room. She had asked questions. And now, both she and the painting were gone. He called Venice, asked to see the exhibit roster. There was no Alessia Moretti listed. No one by that name. Not for months. She had used a fake identity. But why? To steal? To spy? Or to stop someone else? Gabriel knew the way art theft worked. Quiet, cold, clever. But this was too clean, too perfect. Most thefts left a mark, a broken lock, a security camera glitch, a paid guard who looked away. But this theft left nothing. Only air and fear. That meant one thing. It was not a thief. It was a partner. Someone inside the system. Someone powerful. And someone who thought they were smarter than everyone else. He sat in a small cafe in Rome. Dark coffee, old newspaper, heavy thoughts. He looked again at the girl's face. So young, so determined. She had risked her life to get close. Why? Gabriel remembered the ring. The ancient one she wore. 16th century gold. Venetian style. Rare. Precious. Stolen. Reported missing 2 months ago. From a collection in Switzerland. It had been part of a pair. The second ring never found. Gabriel checked the registry. The last known buyer was a man named Pietro Severi, an Italian collector, known in whispers, known in shadows. No address, no public business, but one note stood out. Suspected black market art deals. Never proven. Gabriel made the call to an old friend, a woman who once worked at Interpol. She answered with a sigh. "You are not supposed to be doing this anymore," she said. "I am not," Gabriel replied. "But a girl is dead, and a Da Vinci is gone." She hesitated. Then she spoke. "Severi has been on the edge for years. He moves pieces through front museums. He loans stolen works to exhibits under fake names. He plays by rules no one else sees. And the ring, part of a package, lost in a deal that turned bloody. A courier was killed. The second ring vanished after that." Gabriel's eyes narrowed. What if the girl had it? Then she was not just following Severi. She was working for someone else, or trying to stop him. The story was coming together, like brushstrokes in a painting. A stolen ring, a dead girl, a missing Da Vinci, and a collector who never leaves fingerprints. But it was not enough. Gabriel needed proof. He needed to get close. He returned to Venice, spoke to a man who sold rare frames, a man who sometimes adjusted things for private clients. The man said one thing. There is talk, a Da Vinci, hidden in a warehouse near the docks, but no one sees it, only moves in the dark. Gabriel stood up. "I want the address," he said. The man nodded slowly. "But be careful," he whispered. "People who go there do not come back." That night, Gabriel stood near the water. The wind was cold. The sky was dark, but his mind was clear. He was close now, close to the truth, close to the painting, close to the people who would kill to keep their secret. He had seen this kind of silence before. In Moscow, in Berlin, in Tehran. But here, in the city of art, it felt different. It felt personal. He whispered to himself, "This is no longer just about the painting. It is about her, the girl they tried to erase." And with that, he walked into the shadows once more. Section 3. Echoes of the Past. Gabriel stood in the cold, damp air of Venice. He looked out over the water. Dark, quiet, still. But his mind was not. The stolen painting, the dead girl, the whispers. They were all too clean, too perfect. He had seen this before. Not in Venice, not in this city, but in another life, another case. Years ago, a painting had vanished then. 2. No alarm, no forced entry, just silence. That case had never been solved, but it had left a scar, a lesson, one he never forgot. And now that memory was back, louder than ever. He sat in his hotel room. The lights were dim. The city's sounds floated in through the window. He opened an old folder, one he had kept hidden, marked only with 2 words, Vienna job. He pulled out the notes. A single page caught his eye. It listed a painting, The Baptism of Christ, stolen from a private chapel in Austria. Same method. No break-in, no trace, no answer. Only one person had been seen near the gallery days before. A woman, alone, unknown. Sound familiar? Gabriel stared at the paper. This was not a copy. This was a pattern. Someone was repeating history. He leaned back, closed his eyes. The faces of that old case returned. The priest, the collector, the shadow broker. Back then, they thought it was a one-time thing. They thought the girl had acted alone. But Gabriel had felt otherwise. He had believed in something bigger, a system, a hidden hand. But no one listened. The case was closed, buried. Now it was breathing again. He walked through Venice the next morning. Each footstep echoed off the stones. Every bridge whispered secrets. He was not just chasing a thief now. He was chasing a ghost with a method, a signature. And that ghost was getting bolder. Gabriel returned to the museum. He looked at the wall again. Blank. Still. Wrong. He studied the security logs, motion sensors, entry cards, staff rotations. There, a name. A man who had worked in Vienna years ago, now working security here in Venice. Coincidence? Gabriel doubted it. He found the man that night, in a bar, drinking alone, eyes tired, hands shaking. Gabriel sat beside him. You used to work in Austria, he said. The man looked up. He recognized Gabriel. Most people in the underworld did. I remember the chapel. The man said, I was there, but I knew nothing. You know something now? Gabriel said. The man stared at his drink, then nodded. There is a buyer, always the same man. He does not speak. He sends others. He wants specific paintings, always religious, always old, always priceless. Does he have a name? Gabriel asked. No, but people call him Il Fantasma, the ghost. Gabriel froze. That name again. He had heard it before. Whispers, stories, no face, no photo, just a name. The ghost. He was the collector behind the Vienna job. And now he was behind the Vatican theft. But who was he? And why was he after these paintings? Gabriel knew one place to look. The records of the office. His old world. His old life. He made the call. The voice on the other end said nothing for a long time. Are you sure you want to come back? It asked. Gabriel said yes. Within hours, a file arrived. Marked Operation Echo. Status dormant. Subject unknown. Inside, pages of surveillance. Transactions. Gallery purchases. Silent auctions. And one photo, blurry. From the back, a tall man, gray coat, walking into a building in Geneva. Same man, different name, different city, same pattern. Gabriel knew now. This was not random, not passion, not madness. This was business. High-end theft. For clients who would never speak, would never show, would never admit, paintings stolen, records erased, payments in gold, or silence, and always a body left behind. To keep the trail cold, he opened his notebook. He drew 2 lines, one for the girl, one for the Da Vinci. Then he circled one word: repeat. The past was repeating itself. But this time, Gabriel was ready. He called an old contact, an art broker who once got arrested and quietly released, who's collecting Da Vinci work off market. Gabriel asked. The man hesitated. I should not say. You will, Gabriel said. There was silence. Then, there is one. He buys only through channels. He does not touch the work. He stores them in free ports. Hidden. Protected. Where? Luxembourg. Switzerland. Dubai. Name? No name. Only a mark. A mark? Yes. He signs papers with a single letter. Just one. S. Gabriel ended the call. The ghost had a name, or at least a signature. S. It was enough to start digging. And he would dig deep, because this time the painting was not just stolen. The girl was not just lost. This time it was personal. Gabriel stood alone on a bridge in Venice. Below him, water moved like glass. He thought of the Vienna chapel, the broken trust, the missing art. He had let that case fade. He had let it go. Not this time. He whispered, "This is not just about paintings. It is about silence. It is about power. It is about the people who think they cannot be caught." His voice was low, but I am coming. Section 4. The Dead Girl's Secrets. She had no name, no home, no voice, but she had secrets. And now, Gabriel wanted to know them all. He returned to the morgue, not to mourn, to study. The girl was still there, cold, alone, unclaimed. The lights above flickered. The room smelled like metal and still air. He looked down at her face, peaceful, too peaceful, like someone had tried to erase the pain. He traced the line of her jaw. There was a scar, faint, old, maybe from childhood. Her fingers were delicate, but her nails were cracked. There was dirt under one, dirt that did not belong in water. She had not drowned by accident. She had fought, tried to climb, tried to hold on, but something pulled her under. Gabriel spoke to the coroner, a quiet man with sharp eyes. "What did you find?" Gabriel asked. "No water in the lungs." The man replied. "She was already dead when she hit the water." "How?" "A needle. Small. Clean. Right here." He pointed to the girl's upper arm. "A sedative. Fast. Silent. Professional." "Yes." Gabriel felt cold. Someone had wanted her gone. Not loudly. Quietly. No mess. No questions. Just gone. They gave him her belongings. A small bag. A notebook. A hotel key card. That was all. He opened the notebook. Blank pages. Except one. There, in the corner, a single name. Pietro Severi. And beneath it, a phone number. Gabriel stared. This was no accident. She had found him, or was sent to find him. And now she was dead. He turned the pages again. In the spine, something stuck. Thin. Fragile. Folded. A photograph. Black and white. Grainy. 2 men shaking hands. In the background, a painting. The Da Vinci. Gabriel's chest tightened. The man on the left was known. A dealer from Florence. Banned from museums years ago. The man on the right. He was the ghost. No face. Just a shadow. But the girl had found this, hidden it. She knew what she was doing. Gabriel visited the hotel. Room 211. They let him in. The bed was made. Too neat. The air smelled like bleach. He searched the room. Under the mattress. Inside the vent. Nothing. Then, inside a hollow drawer lining. A second notebook. This one was full. Drawings. Names. Dates. She had tracked art sales. Fake auctions. Secret transfers. And one line circled 3 times. St. Catherine. Vatican. Transfer confirmed. Buyer code. S. There it was again. That letter. That ghost. Gabriel now saw the girl not as a victim, but as a soldier. She had come to fight, to expose something. She had followed the truth, and it led to her death. But it also left a trail, one that Gabriel would follow. He took the notebooks to a quiet office in Venice. A friend, a hacker, a man who owed him more than one favor. The man scanned the notes. These are not just drawings, he said. They're codes. Codes. Gabriel asked. Coordinates. Locations. Dates. Each line tells a story. Each picture is a map. To what? To a network, the man said. An underground system moving stolen art across Europe. And who runs it? The man paused. This symbol. He pointed to a strange mark at the bottom of the page. It belongs to the Shadowy ring. The collector? Gabriel asked. Yes, but he is just a middleman. The true buyer, the one marked as, that is the real ghost. Now, Gabriel understood. The girl was tracking not one theft, but many. She had found the pattern, the secret gallery, the fake museums, the forgeries, the swaps, and she had connected them to the Vatican heist. That made her dangerous, too dangerous to stay alive. Gabriel leaned back. He closed his eyes. The dead girl had done more than watch. She had investigated. She had risked everything. She had crossed oceans to tell a truth the world would never see. Now, that truth was in his hands. He returned to the bridge where her body was found. The water moved slowly. He looked down. He whispered, I will not forget you. I will not let them win. Then he walked away, not with anger, but with purpose. He called the office again. I need everything you have on Shadowy, he said. The reply came fast. Confirmed connections to 2 stolen works. Suspected laundering through private sales. No conviction. And buyer code S. Pause. Known only through whispers. Rumors point to Middle East. Wealth. Royalty. Private collectors. Is there a name? No, but we have one clue. A shipment booked under initials SAR. Destination unknown. Gabriel closed the phone. SAR. That could mean royalty. It could mean anything. But it was enough. Enough to act. Enough to move. The girl had given him a gift. Her silence was now his voice. Her notes were now his map. And her death would not be the end. The next day, Gabriel boarded a train. Destination, Florence, the last known city where Shadowy held a gallery. Not a public one, a secret one. He watched the landscape pass. Fields, hills, shadows. But in his mind, he saw her face. Strong, still, as if waiting for justice. He whispered, Your secrets are safe with me, but they will not stay hidden forever. Section 5. A web across Europe. The girl was gone, but her trail remained. Her notes, her drawings, her secrets. Gabriel had studied them all. Each line, each name, each city, And now he followed them, from Venice to Paris, from Florence to the French Riviera, through the shadows of the art world. He was not chasing one thief. He was chasing a network, a web of greed, a world hidden behind museums and money. The first stop, Paris, a private auction house, known for antiques, quiet deals, high walls. Gabriel arrived at night, wearing black, eyes sharp, heart steady. Inside, the hall smelled of old money, of secrets and smoke. He watched as a sculpture was sold, then a painting, then a scroll. No receipts, no press, no questions, only nods and wire transfers. In the back, he saw him, Marcel Giroux, one of Europe's oldest art dealers, once exiled for forgery, now praised for rare finds. Gabriel approached him slowly, carefully, looking for something rare. Marcel asked, smiling. Something that should not be here, Gabriel replied. Marcel paused. His smile faded. You're him, he said, the man from Venice. I'm not here to ask. I'm here to watch. Marcel leaned in. Be careful what you see, he whispered. Some things cannot be unseen. Gabriel walked away, but not without a clue. In Marcel's files, slipped between invoices, a delivery note, destination, Nice, France, item, portrait, unnamed, 16th century, marked, SAR. Again, those letters. Next stop, the French Riviera, blue skies, warm breeze, golden lies. Gabriel moved through the city like a shadow. He found the villa, white walls, high gates, no name, but the windows glowed at night, and paintings were moved like groceries. One van, then two, no labels, no customs. He watched for days, took notes, made a list. There were 10 men, 6 guards, 2 drivers, 1 manager, and 1 buyer. The buyer wore sunglasses at midnight. He spoke in Arabic. He never touched the art, only nodded and paid. Gabriel followed him to Monaco, a hotel built for kings, surrounded by cameras, protected by silence. There, in the bar, Gabriel sat nearby. He listened. He watched. The buyer spoke of numbers, of shipments, of schedules. But one line struck hard. The next one comes from Zurich. Original Da Vinci. Cleaned. Untouched. Gabriel's hands tightened. That was the St. Catherine. Still in play. Still moving. He sent a message. To the office. To the woman with files. Confirm any shipment from Zurich to Monaco. Private carrier. Code. SAR. Mark urgent. The reply came fast. Confirmed. Arriving in 48 hours. Destination private. Name redacted. But Gabriel knew. The painting was close. The network was alive. And the net was tightening. Next, he traveled to Zurich, where money hides and names vanish. He met with a cleaner, an art restorer, once hired by the office, now retired, but still aware. Have you seen a Da Vinci? Gabriel asked. The man nodded slowly. I worked on one, he said, just last month. Describe it. Woman, eyes soft, cloth overhead, holding a book, background faded, old, real, too real. Gabriel closed his eyes. It was her, the missing St. Catherine. Where did it go? He asked. Loaded at night. Destination unknown. Only a driver knew. He had no name. Only a watch. Gold. With initials. Which initials? SAR. The code again. The ghost again. The network was not just strong. It was fast. precise, silent. But Gabriel had something they did not: memory, experience, and now purpose. He flew to Monaco. The package would arrive in hours. He watched the port. Unmarked vans, luxury cars, no checks. Then he saw it. A silver van, tinted windows, 3 men, 1 crate. He followed. Not close, not far, just enough. The van moved to the hills. A villa, same as before, same buyer. This time, Gabriel got out. He climbed the hill on foot, silent, calm, slow, through the trees, over the stones, to the back gate. Inside, voices, laughing, drinking. Then a crash, a shout, a lock turning. Gabriel moved fast, to the wall, over the edge. He dropped silently, like a shadow. Inside the villa, the painting was laid bare, on a table, unwrapped, unprotected. The St. Catherine. She stared upward, as if asking why. Gabriel took a breath. He was close, so close, but he had no time. A man entered, tall, strong, armed. Gabriel struck first. 1 blow, then silence. He grabbed the painting and ran. Alarms rang. Lights flashed, but Gabriel was already gone. Through the trees, into the car, down the hill, back to silence. He drove for hours, until the border, and then he called the office. "I have it," he said. "The painting." "Yes, and the girl's proof." Inside, he met them in Geneva, a private airstrip. No questions. They took the painting. They took the files. But not the guilt. Gabriel kept that, because he had seen what they did. He had followed their money, their buyers, their lies. This was no art ring. This was a system, protected, funded, praised. But beneath the gold, rot. And he would dig deeper. Back in his room, Gabriel stared at the ceiling. He thought of the girl, her drawings, her fight, her death. And he whispered, "I found them. I saw the web. But it is bigger than I thought." He knew now. Europe's cities were just doors. The real hand was behind them all. Section 6, the inside job. Gabriel had seen enough. Enough lies. Enough gates. Enough guards. This was not just a theft. It was an operation. Planned. Funded. Protected. And worst of all, it came from within. He sat alone. Back in Venice. Rain tapped on the glass. Soft. Steady. Like a warning. He opened the girl's notebook again. Page by page. Sketch by sketch. She had written something strange. No door was forced. The key came from trust. Gabriel read the line again. Slowly, carefully. She was not talking about a lock. She was talking about a person. Someone inside. Someone trusted. A friend. A partner. A shadow in daylight. He went back to the beginning, to the list of people with Vatican access. Only a few had the right clearance. Fewer had art knowledge. Only one matched both. Antonio Celano, a senior art advisor, fluent in 7 languages, smiled in every photo. He was there the night the Da Vinci vanished. But no one questioned him. Why would they? He was the expert, the gatekeeper, the man with all the answers. Gabriel requested his travel history. Celano had flown to Zurich last month, then to Florence, then back to Rome, all within a week. Too fast, too precise, too close to the crime. Gabriel leaned back. It made sense now. The cameras were off, because someone told them to be. The guards were gone, because someone made the schedule. The crate left clean, because someone signed the papers. It was not a break-in. It was a handoff. Gabriel called an old friend, once in MI6, now in the business of secrets. I need dirt on Antonio Celano, he said. Clean record, the friend replied. Too clean. Everyone has something. There is one thing, the friend said. 6 months ago, he opened a new account. In Cyprus, under a company with no name. How much? Enough to buy silence. Or sell it. Gabriel felt the knot tighten. He had trusted this man. They all had. Now he was the key to it all. He arranged a meeting. Face to face. Celano arrived at the cafe, wearing a navy coat, polished shoes, and a smile. Gabriel, he said, what brings you here? You do, Gabriel replied. They sat. The rain had stopped, but the air stayed heavy. I found your name, Gabriel said. In what? In her notebook. Celano's eyes narrowed. She was just a girl. She was more than that. She was a witness. Silence. She knew about the painting. Gabriel continued. She knew who helped move it, and she knew who helped hide it. Celano stayed quiet. Then he said, You do not know what you're doing. I do now. Gabriel leaned forward. You think this is about art. It is not. It is about betrayal, about trust sold for gold. Celano looked down. His voice softened. They paid me to open a door. One door. Just once. Who paid you? A pause. Someone with power. Far above you. Far above me. You gave them access. I gave them a pass, Celano said, and they promised no harm. Just a transfer. Just a painting. And the girl? I did not know, he said. I never wanted blood. But Gabriel had heard enough. The next morning, Celano disappeared. Vanished. His house locked. His phone off. His emails wiped. Gone. Just like the girl. Just like the truth. Gabriel knew what that meant. Celano had been silenced. He was not part of the team. He was a tool. Used. Then erased. That was how this network worked. Tight. Ruthless. Efficient. Gabriel returned to the Vatican. This time, not as a guest. Not as a friend. But as a storm. He walked into the art vault. Empty frames stared back. Spaces where history once lived. He turned to the director. I want names, he said. I want access. I want every list of every person who touched that painting. The director resisted. Gabriel raised his voice. A Da Vinci is gone. A woman is dead. And your silence is part of the crime. The director gave in. They handed over files. Names. Badges. Clearances. One name stood out. Not Celano, but someone higher. Cardinal Rossi, the man who oversaw the vault. A lover of art. A friend of money. Gabriel had met him once. Soft voice. Hard eyes. He started making calls. Everywhere Rossi had gone, art had vanished. Small works. Old sketches. Then bigger pieces. Always explained. Always forgotten. But not this time. Gabriel had the notes. The codes. The girl's proof. He knew what to do. He leaked it to a journalist. To the press. Within hours, the story broke. Vatican art tied to smuggling ring, insider named. The world gasped. The Vatican stayed silent. But the damage was done. Celano was gone. Rossi was suspended. And the painting recovered. Gabriel stood outside the Vatican. Crowds passed by. Tourists smiled. No one knew what had really happened. They never would, because the war had been fought in silence, behind locked doors, in coded emails, in meetings with no witnesses. That was the inside job. Not just a theft, but a betrayal from within. He walked away, not proud, not calm, but clear. The ghost was still out there, the buyers still waiting. But now they knew he was watching, and they would never sleep easy again. Section 7. The Art of Deception. To catch a shadow, you must become one. Gabriel had chased criminals. He had hunted terrorists. He had recovered stolen art before. But this was different. This was not about violence. This was not about war. This was about lies. And those lies wore suits. They walked through galleries. They spoke with perfect manners. They smiled while they stole the world's soul. To bring them down, Gabriel could not be himself. He had to vanish. He had to transform. He had to become something they would trust. The office gave him a name. Julian St. Clair. British. Independent dealer. New money. Old charm. It was a mask, but Gabriel wore it well. Hair trimmed. Suit sharp. Accent perfected. He walked into the world of black market beauty. Private auctions. Secret viewings. Galleries built inside vaults. He became a buyer. Not curious. Not nervous. Cold. Focused. And slowly doors opened. His first stop, Geneva. A man called Victor Marchand. He sold paintings that did not exist. He sold names no one could trace. Gabriel introduced himself. I heard you deal in more sensitive acquisitions. Marchand smiled. A man of refined taste, of selective loyalty. Gabriel replied. They shook hands. A deal began. Victor showed him a room. No windows. No cameras. Just art. Or what looked like art. Some were real. Some were fake. All were stolen. Gabriel walked slowly, measured, silent. Then he saw it. A Titian, missing for 20 years, hidden in a vault in Geneva, hung here like a trophy. Gabriel felt rage, but he stayed calm. He whispered, I like it, but I want something bolder, something dangerous. Victor's eyes narrowed. I might have something, but it requires trust. Gabriel smiled. I brought gold. They met again, this time in Marseille. A warehouse. No signs. No guards outside. But inside, millions hung on hooks. Gabriel was taken to the back. There was the next piece. A Caravaggio, supposed to be lost at sea. Now, resting behind plastic, Victor spoke quietly. This came from a very high source, very clean, very fast. Who? Gabriel asked. You do not ask. You pay, or you leave. Gabriel paused. I want to meet him. Victor's smile faded. No one meets him. You are not ready. Gabriel leaned in. Then make me ready. Back in his hotel, Gabriel sent the pictures. To the office. To Interpol. They responded quickly. Confirmed stolen. Moved between Spain, Greece, and France. Same code. SAR. The ghost again. Always behind glass. Never seen. Gabriel kept playing the game. Next stop, Barcelona. He walked into a secret gallery, run by a woman named Lucia Navarro. She knew every art dealer by their lies. She met him with grace, but her eyes were knives. You say you're Julian, she said, but your eyes say otherwise. Gabriel stayed calm. Truth is an art form. Sometimes it must be bent. She laughed softly. I like that. We bend truth here. For a price. He nodded. I want the rarest, the forbidden, the forgotten. She poured wine. You're in the right place. Lucia showed him more than paintings. She showed him power, contacts, buyers, locations. But she also gave him something else. A warning. Soon, she said, a masterpiece will be moved. A Da Vinci to the Middle East. You will not see it again. Gabriel froze. Who's buying it? She looked away. Someone with more gold than God. Someone who collects stories, not just art. Gabriel knew. The St. Catherine was not safe. Even after recovery. Even after exposure. There was another one. Or a replica. The office confirmed it. A duplicate had been made. Painted with ancient tools. Artificial aging. Perfect stroke patterns. A fake so good it fooled machines. That fake was now in play. And it would sell for millions. Gabriel understood the plan. Steal the original. Create a fake. Return the fake. Sell the real. And no one would notice. Because they trusted institutions. They trusted frames. They trusted names. But the art world was full of ghosts. Gabriel moved to the final city. Istanbul. The oldest markets. The newest money. Here, anything could be bought. And everything had a price. He entered a stone building. Inside, red velvet curtains. Smoke. Silence. He met the man. Not the ghost, but someone close. A handler. A voice for the buyer. He spoke in whispers. We have something unique. Priceless. Ready to vanish. Gabriel leaned forward. Show me. The man opened a case. Inside the Da Vinci. Again, Gabriel took a breath. He stared, not at the beauty, not at the brushwork, but at the truth. This was real. Not the fake, not the copy. The real St. Catherine. Still moving, still in danger. He arranged a deal. A fake name, a fake bank, a fake pickup. Then he vanished, but not without leaving a tracker. Inside the case, hidden in the fabric, so the office could follow, so the truth would not vanish again. Gabriel returned to Venice, not as Julian, not as a buyer, but as himself. The mask was off, but the mission was not over. He wrote a message. To catch thieves, I became one. To find truth, I bent it. But now, I see clearer than ever. He looked at the girl's notebook, at the names, at the faces. He whispered, You led me here. You were brave, and I will not let them win. That night, he got a call. The tracker worked. The painting is moving. Destination confirmed. Gabriel nodded. It was time. No more masks. No more games. Just one final act. One final deception. To end them all. Section 8. The collector. The world knows many rich men. It does not know him. He has no face. No press. No photos. Only whispers. Only shadows. He is known as the collector, not because of what he owns, but because of what he takes. Art, history, people. He buys things not for love, but to hide them, to bury the truth, to trap beauty in silence. Gabriel had heard the name before. Once, years ago, in a file too dangerous to open. Now he had proof. The real Da Vinci was moving, tracked, tagged. Its destination, a private airstrip outside Abu Dhabi. And on the manifest, one name, not a person, a company, Zafira Holdings, registered in the Cayman Islands, owned by no one, linked to nothing, except one set of transactions, each one tied to stolen art, priceless works, moved in silence. Gabriel now understood. The web led here, to this man, to the collector. He flew to the Emirates, undercover, disguised, not as Julian this time, but as a curator, an art consultant, for royals, It was not hard to play the part. He had the voice. He had the knowledge. And now he had a purpose. He arrived at the estate. Miles of sand, walls taller than trees, and in the center, a palace, white marble, gold arches, silence. Security checked him. Eyes scanned him. He passed. They let him in. The palace was cold, perfect, clean, dead, like a museum with no visitors, like a tomb. He was escorted to a room, lit by one skylight. There, hung on the walls, were ghosts, a Rembrandt, a Vermeer, a lost Monet, all real, all stolen, all silent. Then in the center, the Saint Catherine, the real one, the original, unframed, still breathing. Gabriel stepped forward, slowly, respectfully. "She does not belong here," he whispered. A voice responded, "But she is safe." Gabriel turned. A man stood there, not tall, not thin, just ordinary. But his eyes, they were cold, empty, like a vault. "I am told you are an expert," he said. "I am," Gabriel replied. "You work for the crown?" "I work for beauty." The man smiled. "Then enjoy this moment. She has not been seen in 500 years, and she will not be seen again." Gabriel said nothing. He just stared. The man stepped closer. "I collect what the world wastes. Art, truth, even people. History belongs to the one who pays for it." Gabriel looked at the walls. "Do you feel joy when you look at them?" The collector paused. "No," he said. "I feel power." Gabriel nodded slowly. "And do you feel fear?" The man's smile faded. "Of what?" "Of the day someone takes it back." They stared at each other. Two minds, two truths, two stories. One trying to save beauty, the other trying to own it. Gabriel took a risk. "I can get you more," he said. "Pieces no one knows exist." The collector's eyes narrowed. "I do not trust anyone." Gabriel smiled. "Then trust art." They talked for hours. About style, about pigment, about brushstroke. Gabriel was convincing. He had been trained by the best. He had seen fakes. He had made deals. The collector started to believe. "Bring me something impossible," he said. "Then we will talk." Gabriel nodded. "I will." He left the palace, heart pounding, mind racing. The tracker was still on the Vinci, but now he had something more. A meeting, a chance, a door. He called the office. "I met him," he said. "What does he want?" "More." "And what do you need?" Gabriel replied, "Time and a painting." He flew to London, to a quiet lab, where experts restored damaged art. They had something rare, a partial Botticelli, damaged by fire, almost forgotten. Gabriel saw potential. With some work, it could pass. It could fool. Not forever, but long enough. He arranged the fake. Cracks, aged varnish, pigment analysis, even dust. It looked old. It felt real. But it was just a mirror. A lie. He returned to the palace, carrying the false Botticelli. The collector welcomed him. "You delivered," he said. "I always do." They unwrapped it, studied it. Impressive, the man said. "Your next test awaits." Gabriel played along, but inside he felt fire. This was not about one painting. It was about the soul of art, the soul of truth. He needed to end it. Later that night, Gabriel snuck back, through the gardens, past the cameras. He used the back panel of the gallery. He had seen it earlier. A weak spot, a loose screw. He pried it open, slipped inside. The Vinci was there, unwatched, uncared for. He reached out, touched the frame. A soft breath escaped his lips. Then, a noise. Footsteps. He hid. 2 guards passed, talking in Arabic. Did not see him. When they left, he moved. He lifted the Vinci, replaced it with the fake, secured it, closed the panel, and disappeared into the dark. By morning, the switch was done. The plane was ready. The painting was gone. Gabriel smiled. The truth was flying home. Section 9. Ghosts from the office. He never wanted to come back. But some ghosts do not care what you want. The office called. Not politely. Not gently. They called like they always had. Fast. Sharp. Urgent. Come to London. They said, "We have a situation." Gabriel paused. He had just returned. His bones still heavy. His eyes still tired. But rest was not for men like him. Not yet. He flew without a suitcase. Only a coat, a notebook, and a memory. London was cold. Gray sky. Old roads. New enemies. He walked into the safe house. Same smell. Same sound. Men with clean suits and dirty hands. Women who smiled with one side of the face. Everyone watching. No one speaking. Until he entered the room. She stood by the window. Back straight. Eyes sharp. Sarah Bancroft. Old friend. Old wound. They had history. Of war. Of mistakes. Of moments never spoken aloud. She turned. "You look tired." "I am," Gabriel said. "Then you're ready." They sat. She opened a file. "This is not over." Gabriel nodded. "I know. The collector is part of something bigger. You saw a thread. We see the net." She passed a photo. "Do you know him?" Gabriel leaned closer. Alexei Danov, former FSB, now a ghost with a $1 billion smile. "He launders more than money," she said. "He launders power. And he wants the next painting." Gabriel closed the file. "Where?" "Nice. 3 days. Private auction. You're going in." He took a breath. He did not miss this life. But it never stopped calling. The office gave him a new identity. Another one. Thinner. Smarter. Colder. He shaved. Changed his walk. Changed his voice. He became someone no one would suspect. Because he needed to walk straight into danger and come out with a truth. At night, he walked through the old corridors. Memories lived there. He remembered the first time he killed, the first time he saved, the first time he lost. He remembered a boy in a hospital, a woman who never came home, a face in the mirror that aged too fast. But this mission was different. He was not saving a life. He was saving meaning, the meaning of art, of culture, of legacy, the things that made people more than bodies, more than numbers. Sarah handed him a device. Tracker. 2-day battery. Use only once. He nodded. Will it work? It always does. She smiled. You used to believe that. Gabriel looked away. I used to believe a lot. He flew to Nice. The air warm. The sky perfect. A lie. The auction was in a mansion, on a cliff, overlooking a sea that knew too much. He wore black. Simple. Clean. He entered with 50 other guests. All wealthy. All silent. All part of the same darkness. Inside, the walls dripped gold. Every room held secrets. Every painting had a past. He saw Danov. Older. Wider. But the same eyes. Eyes that scanned like weapons. That judged like gods. Gabriel avoided him. For now, he moved through the halls. Watching. Listening. The painting was real. A lost Raphael. It had vanished in 1943, during a war, during fire. Now, it waited for a new prison. Gabriel's chest tightened. So much beauty, trapped in greed. He moved closer, to a woman in red. She was quiet, but powerful. An agent? A buyer? A thief? He smiled. She did not. "Do I know you?" she asked. "No," he said. "But you will." They talked about light, about color. He mentioned the Da Vinci. Her face changed. "You saw it." "I touched it." She leaned in. "You are brave." "No," Gabriel said. "I am done being silent." That night, he broke into the server room, slipped past the guard, disabled the alarm. He found the files, auction list, buyers, codes. One name lit up, Zafira Holdings. Again, the collector was bidding. From a distance, through someone else. He was not finished. Gabriel copied the list, sent it to London. They replied in seconds. Proceed. The next day, the auction began. Wine, laughter, deception. Gabriel sat near the back, hidden. He watched the bids rise. One painting sold for 7 million, another for 10. Then came the Raphael. Gasps, smiles, predators. The bidding started. Quick, sharp. Zafira bid, then Danov, then a man in a scarf. Gabriel placed a low bid. To test, it was ignored. The price rose. Too fast. He stood, walked out, not in defeat, but with a purpose. The painting would vanish again, but not before he did what he came to do. Outside, Sarah called. "We got the list. Interpol is moving." Gabriel smiled. "Good. You did it again." "No," he said. "They did." He looked back at the house, at the people laughing, at the lies dressed in diamonds. And he whispered, "This is not just art. It is war." Later, he sat alone by the sea. He thought of the girl in Venice, of Celano, of the Da Vinci, of the collector, all part of the same sickness. A hunger, to own, to hide, to erase. But Gabriel would not stop. Not yet. Not while the past still screamed. Not while the ghosts still walked. Because some stories are too old to forget, too loud to silence, and some men are born to listen. Section 10. A race against the hammer. The stolen Da Vinci is about to be sold. Gabriel has one chance to stop it, and one name he must betray to do it. The plane touched down at midnight. The sky was empty, the air thick with sand and secrets. Gabriel stepped off the jet. His coat clung to his back. His heart beat like a warning. This was the final stop. The Da Vinci was here, and the auction just hours away. He checked his watch. 9 hours left. Then the hammer would fall, and with it, history would vanish again. The collector had vanished, but his painting had not, smuggled in pieces, hidden in crates marked agriculture, reassembled by specialists paid in gold. Now it hung in a vault beneath a 5-star hotel. No cameras, no alarms, only fear. The bidding would happen in silence, encrypted, private, untraceable, unless Gabriel made a move. Fast, loud, final. He met Sarah in the underground garage. She handed him a flash drive. "This is the only way in." "Passwords," he asked. "One, but you will not like it." She hesitated. Then she spoke the name. Gabriel froze. It was a name he had sworn never to say again. A man once trusted, now exiled, feared. Gabriel looked away. "No, we have no choice. He betrayed us, and now we must betray him back." He sat in the hotel room, Lights off, phone in his hand. He typed the number, paused, deleted it, typed again. His fingers trembled. His voice did not. When the call connected, he said only one thing. "I need your key." The voice on the other end was cold, flat, unforgiving. "I told you never to call." "I know." "Then why now?" Gabriel took a breath. "Because they're selling Da Vinci. And you know where." There was silence. Then laughter. "Still chasing shadows, Gabriel?" "No, I am chasing truth." Another pause. "Fine, I will send the key. But if you come back into my world, you do not leave again." The line went dead. 5 minutes later, a file arrived. Encrypted, branded. It opened with one word: forgive. Gabriel inserted the flash drive. A map appeared. Blueprints of the vault. Rotations of the guards. Access codes. Times. Routes. It was all there. Everything he needed. Except the cost. The man who gave this to him would use it against him. One day. Soon. But Gabriel had made peace with that. This was war. And in war, you trade names for victories. The auction was already live. Gabriel moved fast, through a side entrance, wearing the face of someone else. A bidder, a ghost, a man who buys and forgets. He joined the room. Dozens of eyes, each one dead inside. No one looked up. No one spoke. The Da Vinci glowed beneath soft light. Framed, perfect, alone. He wanted to cry. But spies do not cry. Not in rooms like this. A voice whispered through the speakers. Lot 23. Final item of the night. Opening bid 20 million. Hands raised. Virtual signals fired. Bidders from 4 continents. The price jumped like fire. 40, 50, 70. Gabriel stayed still. At 90 million, he blinked. At 100, he stood. Everyone turned. He walked to the front. No one stopped him. Because no one thought they needed to, he reached into his pocket, pulled the tracker, slipped it behind the frame. Barely a second, but enough. Then he turned to the crowd. "I am not here to bid." Gasps, murmurs, phones lifted. "I am here to end this lie." One man stood. "Security." "Who are you?" Gabriel removed the mask. "Justice." Alarms rang. Lights flashed. Doors locked. But not fast enough. Sarah hit the switch from the van. The system froze. The vault opened. Gabriel stepped back. And Interpol stepped in. They came in waves. Dark suits. Louder voices. The bidders vanished. The Da Vinci was lifted. The truth finally held in honest hands. Outside, the world did not notice. A painting saved. A crime exposed. The news did not tell the full story. It never does. They said, Interpol disrupts black market auction. Famous lost art recovered. No suspects named. But inside the office, they knew. Gabriel had done it again. But at a cost. Later, he sat by the window. The painting was safe. The world unchanged. He thought of the girl in Venice, of Celino, of the lies. He had not stopped evil, but he had slowed it. Sometimes that is enough. Sarah entered. "You okay?" He nodded. "You going to see him again?" Gabriel did not answer, because he already had. In a mirror, in a file, in a past that never stayed buried. The door opened. A man stepped in. The same man he had betrayed. The same man who gave him the key. "You owe me," he said. "I know," Gabriel replied. The man smiled. "One day I will collect." And then he was gone. Gabriel looked at the Da Vinci, its eyes still calm, still gentle, but now free. He whispered, "You were never meant to be hidden." Then he turned off the light and disappeared into the dark. Section 11, the last brushstroke. Truth collides with legacy. Gabriel confronts the villain in a private gallery where every frame hides a lie. The gallery stood alone. No sign, no crowd, just silence. A private collection owned by a man who feared the light, but loved beauty and power. Gabriel walked up the marble steps, each one colder than the last. His fingers curled inside his coat pocket, one hand on a photo, the other on his past. He had followed this trail for weeks, across oceans, through names, through lies. Now it ended here, in this quiet room, with one final truth. The door opened slowly. No guards, no weapons, only art, and the man who stole it, the collector. He stood in the center, tall, calm, surrounded by stolen beauty. He smiled. "Welcome home, Mr. Allon." Gabriel said nothing. He stepped forward, eyes scanning the walls. Da Vinci, Raphael, Caravaggio, all here, all stolen, each one a grave for truth. The collector waved a hand. "Impressive, is it not?" Gabriel replied quietly, "It is a crime scene." The smile faded, just a little. "Do you believe that still, after all these years?" "Yes," Gabriel said, "now more than ever." They walked slowly, side by side, one with purpose, one with poison. "I do not take for greed," the man whispered. "I take for preservation." Gabriel stopped. "Preservation? You buried the world's soul." The collector gestured to a Rembrandt. "Would it be safer in a museum, with cameras, crowds, souvenir stands?" "Yes," Gabriel said, "because it would be free." The room was cold. Gabriel felt it, in his chest, in his hands. The paintings seemed to watch them, not with pride, but with shame. He turned toward the largest frame. Gold leaf, hand-carved, behind it the final stolen piece. The Da Vinci, back in the wrong hands. Again, Gabriel moved closer. "Do you even see it anymore?" he asked. "The brushstrokes, the pain, the genius." The man paused. "I see what others cannot." Gabriel's voice sharpened. "You see ownership, control, and that is not art. That is prison." He reached into his coat, pulled the photo. A girl, eyes closed, Venetian water behind her. Gabriel held it up. "Do you remember her?" The man looked, then looked away. "No, she died because of this," Gabriel said. "Because of you." The collector stepped back. "She was in the way. She was a child." Gabriel's voice cracked, not from anger, but grief. "You killed her for a frame, for a price, for silence." The man sighed. "You are so dramatic." Gabriel's hand shook. He put the photo away. "She had a name, but you never cared to ask." The room fell quiet, just footsteps, breaths, regret. The collector walked to a painting, a small one, a forgotten piece. He stared at it. "I once wanted to be an artist," he said. Gabriel blinked. "You are a thief." The man smiled sadly. "Yes, but once I dreamed. I believed I could make something worthy. Then I learned it is easier to take than to fail." He turned. "So I built a kingdom of other success and painted it in shadows." Gabriel stepped forward. "It is not too late." The man laughed. "For me, it always was." They stood just feet apart now. Years of war between them, unspoken, unforgiven. You could return them Gabriel said. All of it. All the stolen past. The man's eyes narrowed. And what would that change? Gabriel's voice softened. Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. But it would be right. The collector looked down. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then he walked to a drawer, pulled out a small device, a remote, one button. Every piece in this room, he said, is wired to burn. Gabriel froze. You would destroy it. If I cannot have it, he whispered, no one will. Gabriel stepped forward. Fast, careful. You do not want that. You want someone to stop you. The man raised his hand, finger on the button. Gabriel's heart raced. You are not a villain, he said. The collector blinked. You are just afraid of being forgotten. For the first time, the man looked tired, old. Gabriel moved closer. I see you, the boy, the dreamer, still hiding behind gold. The man's hand lowered, just a little. Gabriel reached into his coat. Again, not a gun, a small canvas, old, torn, cracked with time. I found this in Prague, Gabriel said. A copy? No, the first piece you ever sold, before the shadows. He handed it over. The man took it, held it with trembling hands. He stared at it, as if seeing himself for the first time. Tears filled his eyes. He whispered, I remember this. Then silence. The remote slipped from his hand, onto the floor, unpressed. Gabriel stepped forward. You can still choose. The man looked up. Will they forgive me? No, Gabriel said, but maybe history will. Hours later, the police arrived. The paintings were catalogued. The vault opened. One by one, the world's soul was set free. And the man who stole it walked out in silence. No cuffs, no words, just shadows behind him. Gabriel stayed behind. He walked the gallery, alone. He touched each frame. Gently. These are not yours, he whispered. They belong to time. At the end of the hall, he stopped. A blank canvas. Nothing on it. But Gabriel stared. For a long, long time. Because sometimes a blank canvas holds more truth than any stolen masterpiece. Section 12. The exit wound. Justice is not always clean. As the painting returns, another life is lost. Gabriel disappears, but his legend grows. Rain fell over Rome. Not loud, not angry, just soft, tired, like it had seen too much. The truck pulled up outside the museum. No one cheered. No crowd waited. Only 2 guards. And one quiet man with a clipboard. Inside the truck, wrapped in layers of silence. The Da Vinci, back where it belonged, but not the same. Nothing ever returns untouched. Not after war. Not after betrayal. Gabriel stood nearby. Not as a hero. Not as a name. Just another face in the mist. He watched as they carried the painting inside. He did not smile. He did not cry. He simply breathed, because something had been restored, but something else had been lost. The news spread fast. Stolen masterpiece recovered. Black market exposed. Mystery agent behind operation remains unnamed. But inside the office, they knew. And inside the shadows, they whispered. Gabriel Allon, the ghost who paints with silence and fights with memory. Back at the safe house, Sarah poured tea. Her hands shook, not from fear, but from what she could not say. She looked at Gabriel. You did it. He nodded. No, we did. Her eyes met his. But the cost. Gabriel looked away. We always pay, one way or another. That night, the call came. A name, a code, a place. Someone had been found. Someone who helped him. Dead. In an alley. Shot twice. No wallet. No fingerprints. No questions asked. Gabriel listened. He said nothing, then hung up. He sat in silence for a long time. The walls around him were quiet, but his mind was not. He remembered their voice, their help, their warning. He remembered the last words they said. Be careful, Gabriel. Not every canvas gets a second chance. Now, they would never speak again. The next morning, he packed a small bag. One shirt, one book, one sketch pad. Sarah stopped him at the door. Where will you go? He paused. Somewhere I am not needed. She looked at him. You will always be needed. He smiled, but it did not reach his eyes. As he walked through the city, no one noticed. People rushed. Phones rang. Shadows stretched. And in the middle of it all, a man disappeared. Not with drama, not with noise. Just like a breath exhaled. The office issued no medal, no press release, just a file marked closed. But in another drawer, in another hand, a second file remained, not closed, not forgotten. Gabriel Allon, status unknown, location off-grid, threat level undetermined, value beyond measure. Months passed, the world moved on. Paintings returned, wounds stayed. The girl in Venice, still unsolved, still unnamed. But sometimes, at night, a candle flickered in a church near the docks, a name whispered, a prayer spoken, and the wind answered, like it knew. Some said he went to the sea. Some said he became a teacher. Some swore they saw him in Marrakesh, in Lisbon, in Tokyo. No one could be sure. But wherever he was, trouble ended, silence followed, and lost things found their way home. One day, in a small gallery in Florence, a new painting appeared, unsigned, unpriced, untitled, just a single image, a figure in the rain, face hidden, eyes watching a painting through glass. A plaque beneath it read, "To the one who sees what others forget." No one claimed it, but everyone stared. Some cried, some whispered, and one woman said, "That is Gabriel's last brushstroke." In Tel Aviv, a boy picked up a newspaper. He saw the headline. He read the story, then asked his mother, "Who is this man?" She paused, then said, "Not a hero, not a soldier, not a thief, just a man who remembered what the world wanted to forget." In the museum, the Da Vinci now hung behind thick glass. But children still laughed beneath it. Tourists still pointed. Dreamers still stared. And Gabriel's voice, though gone, still echoed. You are not meant to own beauty. You are meant to protect it. Justice had come, but not clean, not painless. A life was lost, a name erased, but so much more had been saved. Art, truth, legacy. Some legends are written in stone, some in blood, and some in silence. Gabriel's was the last kind, soft, unspoken, but unforgettable. One final file appeared on a desk in London. No stamp, no date, just 2 lines. The painting is safe. I am not coming back. Below it, a sketch, a girl on a boat, smiling, alive. And that was all. Outro. Some stories end with justice, others with silence. But Gabriel Allon's story, it lingers, like a shadow, like truth. If this story moved you, like, share, subscribe, and never stop searching for what others try to hide.